Hi, I'm John, and this is a product spotlight. Today we have a couple models from ScaleTrains to look at, so let's head over to the workbench and take a look. Alright, so here's what we're looking at today. This is actually a pair of GP30 locomotives. We have an A unit, which is the one in front, and a GP30B, which is the one in the back. And in case you're not familiar with A and B on the nomenclature, A units have the cab and can be operated independently. B units have no cab, and they're just used for additional power and tractive effort. Since these came to me as a set, I'm going to spotlight them as a set. These are available on ScaleTrains' website as DCC ready for $194.99, and they're available with DCC and sound installed for $289.99. The DCC installed versions come with ESU version 5 decoders, as well as capacitor circuits, also known as power packs. If you're an ESU fan, you may be familiar with these as keep-alives if you're a Soundtracks fan. The point is they carry a small charge to help the models over dirty track and things like that so that they run more reliably. So the A unit comes with an additional detail parts bag to be installed by the modeler if you so choose, and it also comes with one of these product manuals. The B unit does not come with the extra parts, but it does come with a manual. I mentioned this when we looked at the Rio Grande GP30 a while back, that the manual has this narrow profile, which I like better than the typical ScaleTrains manual, which is like this trifold thing that's about 3 feet wide when you open it up. But the manual has all kinds of useful information, like how to lubricate the models, how to operate it on DC and DCC. If you got the DCC ready ones, it talks about how to add the decoder. It has a list of all the values for the CVs, talks about the class lights, dynamic brakes. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of important information in the product manual. You should read through this and understand what the model can do. That's really what I'm getting at here. The paint and markings on this model are stunning. All of the writing is clear and crisp. And if you look, you can see that there's photo etched detail in some of the grills on the side here. Looking around the cab, you can see it has a full complement of detail, including the sunshade, wind deflectors here. There's an armrest for the engineer. These windows can open and close. You just have to be careful. Also around the cab, you can see that it has very fine windshield wipers, both on the side window and over here in the middle windows. The number boards also look particularly good. And if you look, you can see very fine individually applied grabs, both on the top of the hood and on the side here. Looking at the pilot and front of the engine here, the stairs are actually photo-etched see-through stairs. There's little details like the grabs down here and here that are separately applied fine wire details. You can see that there's a lot of extra hose detail down in here. And also, there's a working drop step. I'll try to do it carefully here. You want to be careful with this as well because it's kind of fragile. And then from this angle, you can see the airline, and also you can see from this angle a recessed brake ratchet. Looking at the fireman side, you can see more of that astounding detail in the trucks. Also, I'll point out the label here and the use of color to pick out details around the fuel tank. If I tip this back a little bit, you can see that there's a lot of undersill detail also, including the air reservoir and all this piping that goes with it. There's quite a lot to look at here. The detail on the rear of the engine is also pretty astounding. It has the same see-through stairway that I was talking about earlier in the front. It also has the thin wire grabs separately applied, lots of hose and hose detail. It has the working drop step as well. And it also has the air line here. So quite detailed, quite nice. The top of this model is also really nicely detailed. If you look, you can see there's a curved grab along the back side of this fan. All of the fans have a lot of depth, meaning there's a grill on top, which is separately applied, with fan detail underneath, right, even on this smaller one, which gives it a great illusion of depth. Same thing goes for the exhaust port. You can see that it has a separately applied piece on top with a grill, and I'm sure that if you were to take this off, you'd see that it's open to the inside of the engine. The other thing they have going here that's really good is the horn casting. It looks really good. I usually don't do this, but I wanted to point it out since I mentioned it. See all that undersill detail all up in here? They don't have to add all that stuff, but boy does it look good, doesn't it? The B unit, like the A unit, has nice straight handrails, photo etched grille detail, and the paint on this one is also perfect. Looking at the front of the model, you can see it has a lot of individually applied grabs, as well as a headlight. The drop step on this one also is a working drop step, and it has all of the associated hose detail and an uncoupling lever. I didn't mention that on the A unit, but all of these have very finely rendered wire uncoupling levers. Looking at it from this angle, you can see the brake line as well as the additional hoses on this side, and this one also has that brake ratchet recessed in the nose. And looking at the fireman side of the B unit, you can see it has similar detail to what we looked at on the fireman side of the A unit. The rear of the B unit looks just like the rear of the A unit, actually, just doesn't have those class lights in it, but it does have a working drop step, as well as all of the other detail that I talked about before, including all this hose detail and such. Also, the stairwells on the B unit have the same kind of see-through photo-etched steps. And while we're looking at the see-through steps, I want to point out that the walkways on this model have the diamond plate tread, which also looks really good. And we'll use this last three-quarter view just to point out the hose detail here. And now looking at the top of the B unit, you can see it has that same kind of very detailed fan structure that I showed you on the A unit. It also has the same grabs, and something I didn't mention on the A unit, but I will on this one, is that these are separately applied lift rings on the top of this. The A unit also has those. It seems like they've thought of everything. Alright, so it's time to run this thing and see how it does. I have the computer off camera set to run JMRI on my test track here. So let's give it a run. Now it's time to run the GP30B. Now, you'd probably never see one run like this because, well, frankly, there's no control stand in this unit. It would have to be connected to an A unit in order to be controlled, as far as I know. Here we go. I'm going to test and see if it has a horn. Oh, good. It doesn't have a horn. It shouldn't. All right, now I'll run them together and see how they work as a pair. We'll look at the lights separately on the A unit, and then we'll look at them on the B unit after that. The headlight is directional. It comes on with F0, and the classification lights come on with F5. And the classification lights actually cycle. So you have this sort of white or amber look, followed by green, followed by red. And you just hit F5 to change it each time. Then, of course, it goes off after that. If you have the class lights on and you hit F26, that will turn them off. So it just turns them on or off using F26. There's other stuff that you can do with the model that you can read about in the manual. So just keep an eye on the manual and understand what it says. Now I'm going to start the sound, and you'll see that other lights come on, including a little running light here in the nose, and it may be out of focus, but the light here in the truck also comes on with the sound. Also, the number boards come on with the sound. There's another light toward the back, just below the step toward the back that also comes on when you turn on the sound. I've left the sound on but changed the angle just so that you can see the truck light is also on the fireman side. There's another light back here next to the step, and then the number boards and that other service light back here also are on. When I hit the reverse, now you have your headlights, and again, F5 will turn on and cycle through the classification lights here on the back of the locomotive as well. So there's a lot of lights available on this engine. Okay, and now for the B unit. Headlight again, F0. F5 doesn't do anything because the B unit does not have any classification lights. However, when you turn on the sound, all those service lights come on, just like on the A unit. So I'm talking about the light down here in the truck. There's this little light over here by the drop step. And then over here, just in front of the step, toward the rear of the engine. Once again, looking at the rear of the model, you can see that the service light by the drop step is on. There's a little light back here by the stair. And then, of course, the lights by the truck also come on, just like on the A unit. And again, on this one, when you hit reverse, the rear headlight comes on as well. So that's the lights. I think I can say with plenty of confidence that I'm really starting to understand how it is that people get addicted to buying models from ScaleTrains. Not only do these things look amazing, but they run amazing as well. So great job, ScaleTrains. I can't wait to see more. I'll see you all next time.